name is Liz Partsch.
And I'm Paul Rowley.
And welcome to Farm and Dairy's Weekly Rundown.
Where we will be giving you a rundown of the latest news in the paper.
Yeah. Everybody, welcome back, Paul.
Thank you. Hello. So glad to be here.
Yeah.
It's
He had a
been
nice
little staycation. So I didn't go
yeah.
anywhere, but I was just like milling about in Ohio. And I hung out with some of my friends, my homies, and it was just a lovely chance to take a breath. So I did that.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Cool.
Yeah, highly recommend.
Well, yeah,
So,
love a good
yeah,
staycation.
we don't get that often a lot here, so it's
Yeah.
nice when you can take a break.
Well, for people that listened to our previous podcast, we ended our conversation, Rachel and I, talking about hot dogs.
Oh,
And as I promised, somehow, some way,
Mhm.
a sausage making story fell into our lap last week.
As it should.
Ironically,
As it
after
should.
we just had this whole conversation about
Mhm.
whether a hot dog is a sausage.
Mhm.
Yes, it is.
Mhm.
I learned from this story.
Mhm.
Because, this week I covered a sausage making workshop attended by
Nice.
Representative Chris DeLuzio.
Nice. Let's keep the good times rolling.
Yeah.
Good.
So he represents Beaver County and parts of Allegheny County. And farmers were also in attendance at the Community Kitchen Pittsburgh sausage making workshop.
Okay.
So, but this wasn't your average workshop. The focus was actually getting farmers and the congressmen together to discuss challenges with meat processing in the state.
Oh,
So Carl Sakaya was one of the first. Wait, I must have that wrong. Carl Sakasi.
it's a cool name.
Yeah, Sakasi,
Yeah.
right? Carl Sakasi was one of the farmers in attendance. Sakasi grew up on his family's 200-acre beef farm in Fombelle, Pennsylvania. And while business is good, it certainly could be better. Sakasi would like to sell retail beef with his 50 to 60 head of cattle, but with limited USDA processing capacities nearby, the market isn't viable. That's because the USD, for people that don't know, in order to sell retail beef, you have to, which is, for, I guess, maybe giving you an explanation,
Yeah.
most beef farmers do wholesale, which is like buying half a cow,
Okay.
because you don't have to go to a USD inspected facility.
Mhm.
But for retail beef, which is like pound by a package, you have to go to a USDA inspected facility, and which is like basically the highest level of inspection. It can also be expensive, was what I learned from Rachel, our editor. So USDA requires inspection supposedly before and after slaughter, and while this is good for food safety, it makes processing livestock much more difficult for farmers. Sakasi says the closest USDA facility is over an hour away, and he has to book a year in advance.
Wow.
So this is a quote from him. He says, "It limits you to what you can do." He said, "I can't retail cuts because I'm not going to book on a year in advance for a product I haven't even sold yet."
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no guarantee, right?
Right.
High costs are also impacting farmers. Getting a kill floor installed at your farm isn't an option because it's too expensive and there's lots of regulatory tape. So not a reasonable option for a lot of people. There's also limited to no trained facilities for butchering. That's a huge other problem with labor shortages. Farm and Dairy has done a lot of coverage on labor shortages in this industry, or at least some coverage. And that's because it would be so expensive to build such a facility with, everything that comes into, butchering, right?
Yeah.
And that obviously worsens the labor shortage problem in the industry. So this is kind of where Ben Buchanan comes in. Buchanan started building a mobile butchering unit
Okay.
just as the COVID-19 pandemic hit. And this would lead him to accelerate his business plans for Unified Fields, which is he was the butcher hosting the event. He was demonstrating how to make the sausage making. And he realized that, during this, that butchers were really struggling to process meat during the COVID-19 pandemic because workers were getting sick or staying
Right.
at home. We experienced really how fragile the meat industry was at the time. But once he started doing his business, butchering for farmers, he realized the industry was experiencing more than just labor shortages, but a huge skill gap.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So that's when he started partnering with Community Kitchen Pittsburgh to offer butchery classes in
Oh, wow.
2021.
That's cool.
Yeah. And since then, the classes have really just grown. So one of the most popular ones he told me is Intro to Meat Cutting, which is an 8-module program where participants learn basic meat cutting, equipment use, quality characteristics, and packaging. Buchanan, but he doesn't plan on just stopping there. He is currently working on an apprenticeship center that will have processing capacities for farmers while also serving as a training center for butchery. And several of the farmers agree that this would be very beneficial for their operations to have something like this. Farmers and Buchanan are also hopeful soon-to-be proposed legislation by DeLuzio will help with limited processing. DeLuzio, who was, as I mentioned, in attendance, he was learning about sausage making. He plans on strengthening the Packers and Stockyards Act, coming up. He is expected to propose something. Specifically, he wants to go after anti-competitive, monopolistic behavior in the meat packing and meat processing industry, he told me.
Wow.
So yeah, and just in case anybody doesn't know, the Stock Packers and Stockyard Act was passed in 1921. The act established fair competition and trade practices to protect farmers, consumers, and the livestock industry from unfair and monopolistic practices. So
It's a long time ago.
exactly, that's exactly what I thought when I was writing. I was like, wow, that really was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Maybe we need an update.
Yeah.
And clearly, DeLuzio is thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Apparently, so
Neat. Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's excellent. I'm very excited to dive into this a little bit more. So, I guess my first question, if I was going to start somewhere, just to kind of pull out some of the other details, what is something kind of that maybe you had a takeaway from this sort of this meeting or this workshop? The workshop, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like a workshop.
Workshop. Was there anything that sort of like stuck out to you as like really important that was like part of maybe the conclusion when everyone like, bowed and left?
Yeah. I think what really stuck out to me, and I honestly think coming into the office today, it's Monday, everyone, and talking to Rachel, our editor, as people should probably know, she has her own beef farm
Right. Yeah.
with her husband and her husband's family. They run it. And having conversations with her have actually helped me even more understand it. But like, it was interesting because I feel like going into this story, I do have some relative idea of how a beef farmer operates because I have relatives that operate a beef farm. So that's always I have had an understanding of like how you raise cattle.
Yeah.
But I think, forgot this whole other side, which is, this processing. That's something that I've definitely got a lot more awareness coming into. And then through conversations with Rachel, and she was explaining, just specifically retail beef and how Sakasi is saying that he would love, like he literally told me he would totally sell retail beef if he had a USDA processing facility nearby or if it was like actually viable for him to be able to do that, but he can't. And that made me just think, it's really to get quality beef then, since he's representing so many farmers, to get quality beef, you essentially just need to know a farmer. You need to get on their like customer list. And a lot of farmers already probably have like, people already there. Unless they're going to increase their herd, it's going to be really hard for you to get on a list. So essentially it's not allowing people access, just the average person access to local beef.
Yeah, I gotcha.
If you don't have retail cuts. And I think it's a huge deal because we're talking about, we want people to shop local. We want people to support local, but you can't really support local because beef farmers can't even retail their beef individually. You have to like be on that select. And then at the same time, like, let's say you wanted to get beef from a beef farmer. You're two people in your household. You're not going to want half a cow.
That's probably true.
And that's like the only way, I mean, some people might, you have a freezer, you can freeze it and use that stuff. That's fine. But as I'm saying, exactly, you probably don't have a freezer that you can fit half a cow into. So that's like really people's only option to get local beef. I mean, obviously there are some farmers that do retail, but it's difficult. So
I gotcha. Yeah.
That was my biggest takeaway. That's something that I just,
Yeah. I have another question too, but it's more just like for you. Because I think I got hot dogs on the brain. How do you eat your hot dog?
Oh God, I'm so boring, Paul. You're not asking the right person.
Nonsense.
You're not asking the right person.
Well, just hit me.
Plain.
Plain,
bun.
Yeah. Wow.
See, I'm weird with condiments.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I hate ketchup, which is really...
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and you're really getting the tea there because I'm from Pittsburgh and Heinz is like huge in Pittsburgh. I hate ketchup. I've always hated ketchup.
Wow.
Mustard, it just kind of wigs me out.
Yeah.
I could try it.
Yeah.
Same with relish. Like, I just like...
I don't love relish, yeah.
I
don't relish. Yeah.
That was a good one. Oh my God, dad joke. But yeah, I'm pretty boring. I will shout out Cheplix.
What is that?
It's a local butcher near me.
Oh.
They have the best Cheplix. If you're listening to this, they probably won't. They have the best hot dogs. They have they have this like cheese, cheese hot dog. Like in the middle, there's cheese.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
And then my friend also told me about a chili cheese hot dog that they have that I have yet to
I bet
try.
that slaps.
Oh
That
my God.
sounds really good.
Yeah. Yeah. But they have like, because they have like really big hot
Yeah,
dogs.
okay.
And, anyways,
Wow.
how do you eat your hot dog, Paul?
Well, this came up briefly this morning, and a way that I used to eat hot dogs, like, growing up as a child, was boiled on the stove, which that talk
Hmm.
about being wigged out, because I don't like that.
Boiling a hot dog. That feels so
In
weird to like
water.
drop a hot
Yeah,
dog in
that's a
water.
frozen hot dog, and this was exclusively the way that my family consumed hot dogs, which is
Your family has questionable food tastes.
more
Just no.
that's just the tip of the
Oh,
iceberg.
okay.
But yeah, so but it would, and I don't, the color of the hot dog, not great after you boil it. The color of the water that the hot, not great. Like, it's just all not great, and that was just life, and you just prepared a hot dog on the stove. But where they really belong is on the grill, or on your,
Yeah, that's usually how I eat them,
that's
on the
the
grill.
best way to eat them. That is the only way to eat them. That is the premier way to eat them. And I do love ketchup. I've always had a bit of a love affair with ketchup, I think. And other toppings are pretty good. I'm not a big relish person. Mustard also kind of wigs me out, though.
Hmm.
I don't love mustard. There's been, like, I don't know, mustard's trying to, like, be that girl, I think, a little bit, and, like, it's always like flavored mustard, like mustards with this and Dijon
Hmm.
mustard, and, like, from Paris or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know. But and I'm like okay with that, but just like standard mustard, I don't mess with mustard. But relish, not a huge, or sauerkraut, or like any of those other things that you
Hmm.
go, oh yeah, I don't. But I'm a hot sauce
Yeah,
person.
hot sauce is
I will
good.
put hot sauce on a hot dog and ketchup on a hot dog in a bun, and the hot dog should be coming off of the grill, and that is how I
Honestly, I
consume
wish
my
we
hot
could bring
dogs.
Rachel on right now and
Hmm.
ask her, because I feel
Yeah,
like she would have a good answer, because
yeah,
she is the one who got us on the topic of
yeah,
hot dogs in the
yeah.
first place.
Right. So, yeah,
Yeah, we'll have to ask her.
yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And that's
All
that.
right.
Yeah.
What do you got for us, Paul?
Oh my god. Okay, you
Oh, God.
guys. All right. Let's just get this over with. So, okay. How do I even start this? I don't know. I always get the fun ones. All
Watch
right.
your bums.
Yeah, that's a great way to start. That's it. That's it.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's it.
The things we talk about on
On
here.
the pod. Really. All right, we're gonna talk about this. Nearly 1,000 people in Michigan, and I'm just talking about Michigan because that is where the outbreak is. It has been found to have, I guess,
At least been the worst there.
yeah, initialized or whatever. The word is missing from my head, but they've been diagnosed, these 1,000 people, with a parasitic infection that can cause weeks of watery diarrhea, making it the
Ugh.
largest such outbreak in state history and one of the nation's largest in years. Now, no deaths have been reported as a result of this outbreak, and the source, this is what it's called, cyclospora infections. The source of these cyclospora infections has not been identified. So, inconclusive. We don't know where it's coming from.
That's terrifying. Absolutely terrifying that
No.
we don't know
The killer is
what is
at
causing
large.
it.
Not a killer. No one's died, but the
Yeah.
killer is at large. Meanwhile, investigations into similar illnesses have been going on in 28 other states, including in Ohio. Yep.
Where's the uh-oh? Is there an uh-oh?
I know there should be a whoa button.
Wait, I think it...
Mhm. That's a good one. Yeah, that's it. We could label these, but we haven't done
We
it.
don't. We just guess.
So what the heck is going on? Cyclospora is a microscopic parasite that I guess it has kind of like a spherical shape. This is, by the way, in our rural section, this story, and it is from our friends at the Associated Press. And this parasite commonly causes watery diarrhea. And this is an actual quote from the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The diarrhea that you get if you come into contact with this parasite is frequent and sometimes explosive. That is from the government. So the illness that you contract if you acquire this parasite, which is called cyclosporiasis, is not usually life-threatening and is typically treated with antibiotics. Outbreaks tend to occur most often in the late spring and summer. So we are in the zone. So anyway, the heat-loving parasite infects the bowels and then spreads through feces. Great. In the past, people have been infected by consuming fruits or vegetables that were exposed to feces-contaminated irrigation water. So it's always the poop water. It's less common than a number of other kinds of foodborne illnesses like salmonella and E. coli. And for years, few U.S. cyclospora outbreaks were reported, but the number has been rising in the last decade or so. What can we attribute to that? Well, experts claim that it is climate change because it be warmer out, and so cyclospora is like, this is my time. And also better detection. We are detecting this thing better, and so therefore we are seeing like increased, occurrences, numbers, and such. People who have diarrhea right now, I'm reaching out to through the internet, that hasn't gone away on its own in a few days should probably see their healthcare provider or anyone and that can relieve this ailment for them and discuss the possibility of them suffering from cyclospora. The best way to prevent, this is the important info, the best way to prevent infection with a parasite is to avoid food or water that may have been contaminated. Fresh produce should be thoroughly washed before being eaten, but be aware that cyclospora apparently is like very stubborn, just has a lot of staying power apparently, and can really stick to some foods and, get, I guess, just, make itself, it's going to hold on. So washing may not fully eliminate the risk of infection. So, and we're talking about like produce, as we said. As Michigan officials investigate the potential source, they recommend consumers purchase whole heads of lettuce rather than pre-washed bag lettuce or salad mixes. Those are like, I guess, primarily right now, the current vector of this illness getting to people, which is like those salad kits at the grocery store. Those maybe you want to not purchase right now. And to remove the outer 2 or 3 leaves of that lettuce head before washing the remaining leaves under running water. They also say to cook vegetables when possible. Side note, I'm wondering if okay, so it also has, what's the word? It's not inoculation, but the period of time where like you get the parasite and then something happens to you, like explosive diarrhea, is about 2 days to 2 weeks. That is
Wow.
the
So,
length
yeah,
of time.
that's wild.
And my like hyperfixation meal, as my boyfriend calls it, is a Caesar salad kit from the grocery store that I dice up buffalo chicken tenders in, and then I throw it all together and eat it. And it is quick and simple and cheap and yummy and
Yeah.
filling. It's awesome. It hits all my check boxes. And I've dutifully prepared these meals for myself. And I'm wondering if the question is not if, but when.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's the Walking Dead over here.
So we know that there's a huge outbreak in
Mhm.
Michigan, but it's pretty big in Ohio too.
It
So
is.
I'm wondering, because we were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
What is the toll? But specifically in Ohio, you were talking about some things that you've read online.
Yes.
Some could be speculation, but like, yeah, what for you when you've
Yeah.
been looking this up? Have
Right.
you realized in our state specifically?
Oh, yeah. Because I've been doing the research because I'm like, am I an afflicted person? Is this going to happen to
Yeah.
me? And how do I possibly prepare myself? But also, like, what is the plan, right? Like, so anyway, we actually, so I have been spending time on reddit.com, which is the giant forum site. And so all of the information that comes from here is just basically no better really than hearsay. It's just people like anecdotally sharing like what their experiences are. But there's commonalities. Like when you look at I've looked at like literally the Cleveland one, because that's in my city. And they're all talking about the same kinds of brands, like the bagged salads are the suspect where they think that they've gotten this parasite from, but also fast food. Fast food restaurants. And I also have a bit of a sweet tooth for fast food. And
Any fast food, like,
well, can I say the name of the
well,
one
we're keeping
restaurant?
people safe, so
Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
supposedly, speculated,
Yes, allegedly.
some
according
people
to-
believe that they might have got it.
Yes,
from there.
unconfirmed, and these are, and it's also, there's a grand conspiracy that one of the companies that makes all of these salad kits like nationally also provides lettuce to Taco Bell specifically.
Yeah,
So
not
there's-
just Taco Bell. It's like something that they would have used.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like a through line that these people on Reddit are alleging is, they can trace through all of this. This is not confirmed. There's no official word on this. I actually read a USA Today article, and they had asked a lot of the fast food companies, like if they have a protocol or a plan. Crickets. Like they didn't. The only one that responded was Chipotle. We love Chipotle.
Really, bottom line is that if I were smart, I would not eat lettuce until whatever. I mean, it could be something else too. Like I think I personally read online that it's raspberries specifically because it has tiny crevices and that's what the parasite hides in. I've also read cilantro and basil. So I would avoid those things that they're saying too. And when in doubt, buy locally, because if it's being spread across state lines, that is mean it is coming from a big company and it's not coming locally. So if you're going to buy local, if there ever was a time to actually invest and go out of your way to buy local, it would be now. It would be worth the extra cost unless you want to literally poop for like weeks and months on end.
Emergency. And there's also, to answer your question too, there is tests that are used for different types of food poisoning, and a lot of them are just not geared towards cyclospora. So we're just like blind. Like we don't even have the test to detect it. We're doing better apparently about that, and that's why we've seen like the numbers climb in the past couple years, but also like it's very new. And technicians are not able to grow the parasite in labs, so they can't like reproduce conditions that have befallen other people, so they can't.
So we really don't know that much about it. Oh, okay.
It's people telling like the health community, like I have this, I'm sick, but they are not able to like get a produce that is affected with the parasite, and then we're all kind of messed up with this. And it's also hard to figure out what food. This is also important for like the allegations that people are making online. It is hard to figure out what food sick people had in common, because sometimes, like you were saying, it's kind of like an ingredient like cilantro or basil or that kind of thing. Or it might be a thing that's like common in multiple recipes. And so like it's hard to trace back like where that came from. And sometimes in the, there's grocery stores and restaurants that might also get all of those things. And so it can't be like, it came from this restaurant, because that restaurant might be sourcing it from this it's too hard to, so we're just surviving at this point.
God, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway.
Which is, it's such a shame, because people are like, I want to eat lettuce because I'm healthy. And then you get like a diarrhea, like virus.
That's what I'm trying to do.
That is like the biggest, like, just like, I don't know,
slap in the face.
Yeah. It's like the biggest slap in the face.
And it lasts for weeks. That's what everyone says it lasts for weeks.
So terrifying.
And people are like, it's week 3 and I'm still like dealing with this on the Reddit page. So that we know that part is true. It apparently does. It can go as long as like 3 or more weeks.
Wow.
So anyway,
wild.
Stay safe. And if this is the last time you ever hear from me, you know what happened. And it's been a pleasure.
Oh, God.
What do they say in the Titanic? Gentlemen, it's been a privilege and an honor to write for you. Like that's what I'm dealing with right now. So
oh my God.
Hopefully it does not befall me.
You're in my thoughts, Paul.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I do have some good news.
Please uplift
us.
Yeah. Yeah, save us from.
We'll say, 7 years coming, guys. This news is 7 years coming. So 4 injection wells in Washington County, Ohio ceased operations on July 1st and 2nd after brine waste was found to have migrated into oil and gas production wells. So for those who don't know or need a little refresher, brine waste is a hazardous byproduct of unconventional oil and gas drilling, and it is often injected into the ground for long-time storage. According to the Ohio Department of Natural Resources Division of Oil and Gas Resources, the Redbird number 4 and number 5 wells owned by Redbird Development, LLC, the American Growers number 1 well, which is owned by Deep Rock Disposal Solutions, and the Nicholas number 1A well owned by Select Water Solutions, LLC, voluntarily ceased operations after the agency identified impacts to nearby oil and gas wells. So Washington County, where this is happening, is home to 17 injection wells, which I believe is the most in the state, if not tied for the most in the state. In between 2023 and 2024, this county accepted 11.9 million barrels of oil and gas wastewater, most of which comes from out of state, including neighboring Pennsylvania and West Virginia. So for those who are hearing this for the first time, this problem, like I said, has been going on for quite a long time, 7 years, dating back to 2019, when Bob Wilson and Bob Lane found their gas wells flooded with brine waste. So a subsequent ODNR investigation found that brine waste had migrated up to 5 miles away into 28 production wells. After 1 year of operation, the Redbird number 4, which is one of the Class 2 injection wells that was just now shut down, leaked 4.2 million gallons of brine waste into these wells. So 4.2 million gallons of brine waste in just 1 year.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Since then, numerous well owners have had their wells impacted by brine waste. Just 5 to 6 weeks ago, Wilson said he found 2 of his wells flooded.
Oh.
So this is still happening.
Yeah.
Still happening. And I think just emphasizing still happening. So now that means 50 of his 171 production wells have brine waste in them.
Oh.
And for him, it's been a headache. He said at a press conference, "I've been living in hell for 7 years," Wilson said at a press conference held by Buckeye Environmental Network, an environmental group that's really been on this.
Nice.
He said, "I get up and go to work every day and lose money." So can't imagine how stressful and awful that would be, right?
Yeah.
So Wilson and Lane did file a lawsuit against injection well companies, including Disposal Solutions or Deep Rock Disposal Solutions former CEO Brian Chavez, who, if you don't know, is now an Ohio state senator and chair of the state's energy committee. Yes, he is on the chair of the state's energy committee, making energy decisions. As a former CEO of an injection well company, an energy company. Anyway, Deep Rock operates several injection wells in Southeast Ohio, if you don't know. So he's representing a community that has a lot of business, of deep injection well business. So 7 years later, though, the Ohio Supreme Court has yet to hear the case.
Wow.
7 years. Because I think what happened, it got appealed a few times.
Okay.
So now when it goes to the Ohio Supreme Court, and they still are waiting for that day, if it ever comes. Is what they've said to me. So David Jeffrey, a geologist at Marietta College, who was also at the Buckeye Environmental Press Conference, said some really interesting things that I think added some context as to why this problem might be happening. So he said these problems are happening because there's no room for these liquids essentially in the deep rock formation that these companies are injecting waste into. So I'm going to try and explain this because the way he explained it, you know, for me, I've been covering this story for quite some time now. And for the first time, it almost felt like it clicked. It made sense. Like, oh, this is why this is happening, right? So that's because this formation that they're injecting in is like here, okay? It's like very deep below the ground. Like the ground is here. It's very deep. And these formations have low porosity and permeability, and they're already storing naturally occurring salt water. So they don't have, therefore, they don't have any more room to store anything in there. So what's happening is the brine waste is then traveling up through just naturally occurring like fractures in the ground, and then it's traveling back up to what's called the Berea formation. Formation.
Okay.
It's a like higher up, not as deep formation, and that's where gas is, production gas, and all of these production oil and gas wells that people are getting gas from is drilling into the Berea formation. So this brine waste is traveling up from the deeper formation through these fractures into the Berea layer, and then traveling up production wells because he said it's essentially like a magnet. These production wells.
Cool illustration. Okay, I'm following.
Thank you. Yeah, his is probably a little better because you could actually see it. I wish I could almost paste it in for people. So hopefully that was understandable. But anyways, Jeffrey echoed community concerns that in a few years' time, this waste could get into the city of Marietta's aquifer, which sits roughly 2 miles away from the injection well. This has also been a concern for quite some time now in nearby communities in Southeast Ohio. And it would be a humongous problem, like millions of dollars of a problem if this waste got into a city's aquifer. Because thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people rely on water from these things. So ODNR did say that no private drinking wells have been impacted yet, and that they're looking on contracting a third-party consultant to conduct a study of private water wells near the impacted production wells in Washington County. So more to come on that. Obviously, this will not be the last time we talk about this problem because there are still injection wells operating in this county, but for environmental groups, it's a big win to hear that these, and for the well owners, it's a big win to hear that these, at least for now, these operations are stopped.
Wow. Cool. All right. Well, that's really exciting for them. Um, you've covered injection wells for a long, long time at this point. What at this like arriving to this place here
Mhm.
with this development? What is the experience like? Like for you, like seeing this, occur or happen at this point?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting,
Yeah.
honestly,
Yeah.
to how exciting to read that these operations are stopped. I mean, obviously, um, trying to keep my opinion to
Yeah.
myself, right?
You've just seen like a lot of things like not change for a long time. It seems like just kind of like, and then
Mhm.
suddenly it's like a development, like, oh, whoa, like this,
Whoa, yeah, no, this was like big
right,
news,
right.
like big news for anybody that's been reporting on this. Like, I
Yeah.
even have a reporter friend who writes for the Athens Independent. Shout
Oh,
out
nice.
Eric Boyle. If you guys read Eric's stuff,
Yeah.
he also has a lot of really good reporting on this and obviously
Nice.
other issues too.
Yeah.
Um, Athens Independent has a lot of good reporting.
Cool.
Anyway, but yeah, we were calling and talking about how big of a deal this was.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just really nice because especially it's nice for the community
Yeah.
because it is such a concern, and
Yeah.
I see and understand why it is such a concern. I
Mm.
mean, it's still happening.
Yeah.
So to finally hear that the ODNR is saying, "Yep, we need to stop," is just a huge win. So I
Yeah.
really feel for the community and also for the owners. I do feel a little, but it's not done yet
Yeah.
because at the same time, like a huge problem with the owners, Bob Wilson, Bob Lane, all the others owners, is that their businesses are like really taking the hit. Like
Yeah.
literally, Wilson was like, every day I wake up and lose money.
Yeah.
I lose $500 even before I've done anything.
That's wild.
So he's really, and the really sad part is that not only is no one doing anything to help them get rid out this brine waste out of their wells,
Mhm.
but they were basically told, well, you're going to have to plug it. And then they're like, well, we can't
Oh.
plug it. And they're like, well, then we can't help you because if you own a
What?
gas well, you have to plug it.
Mm.
But plugging wells, is people should well know at this point, is
Mhm.
so expensive.
Mhm.
So expensive. So not only are they being told like, oh, you're losing money, but now you also have to assume the responsibility of like plugging this well.
Yeah. Wild.
So it's still not over yet. I
Right.
mean, it's like it's really exciting development, but there's still a lot more that
Yeah.
needs to be done, I think.
Yeah.
So
Wow. All right.
yeah,
Nice work, everybody. That's cool.
cool.
Let me share also just something unrelated. I know not everyone enjoyed my song from a few weeks ago about the screwworm, but if I was going to share another song with you guys, I would do to the theme of Margaritaville, wasting away again in diarrheaville. But I'll just leave you with that. I have so much fun making those, you guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But anyway, that's all.
Good
That's
song,
all
Will.
of that. Yeah, thank
Love
you.
it.
Some people claim that it's Taco Bell to blame. What I think.
Well, Taco Bell is to blame for a lot of people's
Yeah,
diarrhea.
I guess it would be. Yeah.
If you don't know, but
that seems to be
you
a
know,
recurring theme with them every now and then. But
yeah,
Yeah.
at least for people that have
Yeah.
stomach issues.
yeah, so
Cool. Well, do you have any other news for us?
I don't think I do. It was I'm just getting back into the swing of things after my luxurious
Yeah.
break. So
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is it then for
Yeah.
our podcast this week.
that's it.
Yeah. To read the full stories, you can go to farmingdairy.com. You could find your local newsstand, or if you're a subscriber already, you get it to your house. Or if you want to be a subscriber, you can go to farmingdairy.com and do that as well.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you should do that.
And you should do
it's
that.
So with your time. So
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.